Hi, it's Wendy again. We're going to work on my easel skin mini album. We're going to work on the cover, and we might get a few other things done. Just come on, walk over where my there we go. Hold on, I gotta look because I'm looking for something. Oh, it's not in there. I know I have it somewhere. Anyways, today's kind of a nice day. It rained, but we didn't have a good thunderstorm, which I miss. I like good thunderstorms. I got my camera set so it works in low light. There we go. So we're going to see how this works without that extra light, but I might turn it on. Now I know my covers are 4x6, and I like to have anywhere from ½ inch to 1 inch on either side. And I have this piece of leftover black cardstock. Oops. And I know it'll work this way for the 6 inch. I just want to measure how wide it is. That's about 7 1/4. So we'll cut it by 5 1/4. I don't know why, it just makes things nice. I have my dog Poppy here sitting very nicely. Oops, there was a piece that I need. Just a moment. I gotta do something. Alright. Had to get my piece of tie back because I like to use up all my scraps because we're reusing some. As I say, I have my dog Poppy sitting here with me. Actually, she's sitting very patiently because I have treats for her. And if you watched any of my other videos, Poppy is a rescue. And that's not centered the way I want. That's better. A rescue in the fact that I was, about 3 Thanksgivings ago, I was out shopping for last minute stuff. You know how it is. You always forget something. In one of the stores, you can get the honey baked hams and turkey and it was only at certain stores. And I went there because last minute we decided we would like to get one if we could. And Poppy was running around the parking lot of the store. I am going to need that light. Yeah, it took me, she almost got ran over 5 times before I got her in my vehicle, me and another lady. And there was a poster for a dog, but it wasn't Poppy. And I took and I put up messages on Craigslist. I called local vets. I took her in to see if she was chipped. What else did I do? I did Craigslist for about 6 weeks. And after that, my husband says, forget it, she's ours. And we went and had her fixed. Because when we got her, I estimated her age at about 9 months. So we took her in got her fixed, chipped, vaccinated. She's been with us ever since. She came into our lives. We had another dog, a Dalmatian mix, that we had gotten 2 weeks before we got married, and she was 18 at the time when we got Poppy, 18 years old, and so she was going downhill. I mean, the dog was blind and having incontinence issues and everything. So we got Poppy. Well, Poppy has issues, and I don't know what these people did to her, but first off, the only place she'd go to the bathroom was in the bathtub. So we had to teach her how to go outside. I think the person who mistreated her was female, because she has issues with females, and we've worked a lot on that, and we've come a long way. She still has issues in that, as far as my husband goes, my husband is hers. I don't count. But here's the funny thing. She will take and go to bed with me. If I go to bed before my husband, she goes to bed with me. If my husband goes to bed before me, she stays up with me. So I don't know. And I'm the one who, and I fed her, hand fed her for a month. I can't believe that. I did a lot for this dog, despite I even had a dog behaviorist come out to give us some help with her. So I mean, we've done a lot for this dog. A lot more than we did with our other dog. But part of her thing is food. She is very food orientated, and she can also be food aggressive at times. So we have little things that we do with her. And one of them is, like right now I have her treats sitting on my desk, and I have them broken up into pieces, and they're just the carry-out, the peanut or just these. I took 3 of them, broken into 12 pieces. And oops, that one's a little wide. And I make her sit there until I'm ready to give her a treat. So if you see me reach over every now and then and get that's why. Ooh, that one is wide. I don't know why it cuts so wide. Hey, you. You want to come up and say hi? You want to say hi? Come on. Alright, oh. This is Mittens. This is our polydactyl cat. That's one of her paws. And she is polydactyl on all her paws. Hold on, I gotta give her some treats. Oops. Put that up so you don't cut yourself. Hey, here. No, you can't have Poppy's treats. Here, Mittens. Here. She's exploring. Okay, she decided she didn't want any treats. She just wanted to come up and say hi. I have your treats here. Are you ready for them? Come and get them. So, after we lost Minnie, which was our Dalmatian mix, we still had Nico, who was our cat. Petite little thing, ruled the house. If there was ever a cat that ruled the house, Nico was it. Cat weighed maybe 5 pounds and had my husband wrapped around her fingers. And she was another rescue. And we lost her in this past year in April. I was a little devastated by that. She's a very opinionated cat that didn't want to be held unless she wanted to be held. She wanted her food and water dish at a certain fill. She didn't like a lot of the pet foods. She wanted certain pet foods. So we catered to that. In the end, I was hand feeding, hand watering her, cleaning her. When it came time to help her cross, I held her as she crossed and I cried. And it was kind of a trying experience because we normally go up to a military installation for our pet care, and I wasn't sure if I could get her in, and they were supposed to call me back and they didn't. I was calling local vets. No. And they wanted, not only did they want a fee for the euthanasia, they wanted a fee for the disposal of the body. They also wanted to perform a pet exam on her. And I'm looking, I'm going, wait a minute, the cat is 18 years old. Because she was a year younger than Minnie. She's seizing, she can't walk, she isn't eating, drinking, pooping or peeing. And you want to do a darn... Here. No, those are poppies. Hey! You little snitch, come here. Right here. And one place wanted to charge me $185. Yes, Mittens is here. She's enjoying her treats. Mittens is a very unique polydactyl cat. I'll tell you why in a minute. But I finally ended up calling the base vet, and they said, oh yeah, we can get you in at 1 o'clock tomorrow, or tomorrow, and this was Tuesday. I said, I don't think she can last that. Oh, no, 1 o'clock this morning. I said, that's fine, because it was like 10 a.m. So I went up there, they were all set. We got everything taken care of before we even walked in with to the exam room with her. And they gave us the option of being with her when she went. And she went and I cried like a baby, and I walked out and I said, I'm sorry, I'm so emotional. And the tech who was there said, don't worry, I was crying with you. I gotta get the treats off my desk. So it was a couple of weeks, and during those 2 weeks, the house felt empty. I was used to having Neko there, and my husband admitted it too. So we started looking at the different pet places and the adoptions, the humane societies and things like that. And we were going to take our time because we had certain criteria, and the criteria was that it had to be a female up to 4 years old. We would consider a kitten about 10 months old. Of course, at the Humane Society and that they spay and neuter them, so that wasn't an issue. It had to be dog friendly. It had to glam onto me, basically, because she was going to be my cat. Because Poppy is basically my husband's dog, I guess. And we were looking, and we went to one of the events, and the cat we were looking at was actually playing, just waiting for his new family to pick it up. So we went to another one, and they weren't ready to start yet, so we went to lunch, came back, and there was Mittens in a kennel, and had all the criteria. The only thing we did not know is that Mittens is a polydactyl cat, meaning she has extra toes. Now she has 7 toes on her front and 6 on her back. A normal cat has 5 and 4. We looked them up. They also sometimes call them pterodactyl cats. But there's a colony down in Florida that, oh, who's that one writer? He did The Old Man in the Sea. Hemingway. He has a whole colony of them down there that they take care of, and I also found out that they're mostly from the east coast of the United States and over in England, the British Isles, and they were considered good luck on ships because they're excellent mousers and that, and they just brought good luck. Now, it's common for them to have extra toes on their front paws. It's uncommon for them to have extra toes just on their back claws. It is rare that they have extra toes on all 4 paws. So, we have a rare cat, and she is into everything. She's 2 years old, and she is just into everything. But those are my current pets, Poppy and Mittens. And my husband calls them by the wrong names and that, but they still call them. And Mittens does listen. Mittens obeys because eventually she thinks it's beneficial to her. Alright, so what I did was I laid my chipboard on my cardstock and put about a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch border. I just taped it with the double-sided tape. I can't even think of the name of it. Whatever this tape is. And I put the 3/8 of an inch over on the outside of my cardstock, but I put 1/8 of an inch here just to help with the borders. Then I took them, cut off my corners, but I try and leave about 1/8 of an inch. You know what, I might leave this. Don't worry, people. There is a reason for this. Because I just noticed I have I'm trying to give myself a little bit of on that one corner. I didn't. Okay. I'm not too worried about this being too straight because I am going to cover this up. So, and then what I did was, you saw me, this is from my Cricut, and I ran it around the edges, and then I took my bone folder and brought it up. And these are all tips of things you can do. I also did this, and that is to make it so that the paper goes the right way. Now what I'm going to do is, I need the pokey tool for this, is I start with the long sides first. I do remove all of the coverings on the chipboard, but not on the paper itself. This is just how I do it. Then I take and I start, everybody says start on the long side, and I do start on the long side. And I just roll it over. Like that. I'll do this side. And this is going to be the front of our easel mini album. Okay, now that I've got that, the next thing I do is I tuck in my corners. And you know, some people go, well, why do you do that? I see everybody doing it, and it makes it look nice. That's about all I can say. And it helps to cover the point end of your corners here. You see, despite me adjusting that, I have a very nice border right there. Oops. Now this might work. And because I'm using black cardstock, if I end up with an exposed corner, like I'm going to end up here, I don't know why. Probably because I moved it and I didn't check. But there is a way to fix that. This is going to my sister anyways. She doesn't want me to take a Sharpie marker. Always have Sharpies on hand. So, because right there is where I colored it, and you can't see the cardstock. Alright, so that part is done. Now, for the back, which has the hinges on it. This is our back. This is the one piece that I was trying to decide how wide to cut it, and I decided on this one I'm going to go 1.5. The reason being, when I measure these, just as they are right now, it's 3/4 of an inch. So I'll probably have 5/8 of an inch width with the covers on. So I'm going to go 1.5 inches. I'm going to switch out blades. I have a blade here that I have designated for chipboard, and that's something you should consider doing, is designating one blade for chipboard, and always use that blade. Because when it's hard to hand cut chipboard, you can see I have my 2 pieces, and I just put that in that space. Alright. Now, this part's going to get some bending. So I'm going to attach some tie back. And this is about 3 inches. I know this is about 1.5 inches. And I don't know why I'm trying to, yeah, I do know why I'm trying to make sure it's kind of even. Because that way, when I put my other 2 pieces on, and I do this way because that way this adds some strength to that corners. Now, you can use the score tape. See, I knew I would have needed all that eventually. I actually have a couple of, there it is. I have a shim here that is about twice that width. If I use the other side, it'll be the same width. I have a shim here, and these are great. Because then what I do is I line that up on the line, leave my shim there, put that up, because you're supposed to have the width of your chipboard. Some people say twice, some people say the width in between. Like I said, you can use score tape, you can use glue, whatever tickles your boat. And one trick I learned is, if you line the end of your shim with the end of your cardstock, then you know that, okay, if I butt it up there so it lies right up against that, on that end, it'll be straight. So there's our, so I have them at dip, because this is a different width, I think. That's the same width. And they're kind of long, but they're helpful. Now for this one, I'm going to need a whole piece of cardstock. And I know I'm going to cut it at least 5 inches. So cut this 5 inches wide. And this piece measures, since I have it all together, just a little over 11 or 9. So if I go, just give me a little extra, I'm going with 10 1/4. So I just need to take off 3/4 of an inch of this 11. I'm giving myself a little extra on the length, simply because I want to make sure I have plenty. Alright, so I'm going to line this up here. I know this is 10 1/4, so if I line this up, and I know it's 1/2 inch, you know, I hate using that beveled edge. Okay. I know the 6 is my center mark. Sorry, I had to make sure that one side was at the 1/8 inch. So there. Some people would argue maybe you should put a strip here. I don't have any strips, but I'm not going to worry about it. You could put a strip on this side too. Some people put, I've seen people put duct tape, masking tape, packaging tape on these to help their corners. So, you know, those are options too. So again, I'm just going to take some, because all that the tape runner is doing is holding it in place. Nine, that's 4.5. Okay. That's the neat thing about a centering ruler is this way you don't waste paper by having too much on one side and not enough on the other. And again, I'm going to take my 3/8 inch. And the reason why I use the 3/8 inch is because I have approximately 1/2 inch border here, and this way I can put this right to the edge, or as close to the edge as I can get it. Make sure you rub that down so it's on there. Because I'll do the 1/8 of an inch on the chipper. And some people say, well, since you're using 3/8 of an inch, you only have 1/2 inch. Why do the 1/8 of an inch? Because a lot of times I have that 1/8 of an inch border that doesn't have any tape on it, and this way I catch it and it will hold it down. It's just extra protection with that way. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. If you feel comfortable not doing it, you don't have to. This is my method, or my preference. Let's put that in my preference. And just like in making these mini albums, there's tons of ways to tape. I do have an idea for another mini album. I got burlap fabric, and I bought some scraps of colored burlap, and I have some burlap like trims. So I'm going to make a burlap cover mini album with burlap flowers, and I haven't seen anybody do that. I found some, it's country-like paper that would be perfect for it. And I do craft cardstock, of course. But I thought it'd be neat to do a burlap album, decorate it with burlap trims and flowers. And you know, I've seen burlap flowers being made, but they don't look like the ones I used to make years and years ago when I was a kid. I'm going to date myself here. Because I remember making them and they would be loops. And I'll actually show that in my tutorial when I think I'll do a tutorial on it and show how I'm going to make the flowers. And before I do anything, I gotta line my edges. I'm just going to do this. You know, I have about 5 different cutting tools. Yeah, it worked. The tape was on it. So I thought that would be a unique one to do. Because I have red and green, I think purple burlap that I bought. And then of course I have the natural colored burlap. So I thought that would be unique. I haven't quite decided if I want to use outdoor paper. I have a book of like farm outdoor nature or farmer type paper. Alright. Some of these corners. I don't know what it is with these corners. So when all else fails, use the scissors. I'll leave an 1/8 of an inch. Oh, I know why, because I have more on this side than that side. Okay, solve that mystery. Alright, so let's get this one done. Because it's longer, I'm going to use my ruler to roll it. Poppy's under my table thinking, oh, I'll get more treats. I know Mama has more. She brought a bag up. Yes, I brought a bag up, but they're to last for a while. So she has certain treats that are up here. She has treats that are downstairs. Let me tell you, ladies, you buy treats for your dog, and they claim they're supposed to have hours of fun with it. Yeah, right. Those chew bones, you know, those rawhide ones, no. That could just be me. We give her busy bones. They're supposed to keep her busy for a while. Yeah, right. Inside of 10 minutes, she's done with it. And we never give it to her unless we're home, so. Okay. Oh no, I have trouble with my corners today. That's alright. Sometimes if they don't look good, run your bone folder over them. I don't think I worked this paper as well as I did that one, the back or the front cover one. So, alright. So we got that done. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to come in here with my bone folder at the ridges, or at the little spaces in between. And I'm just going to gently work that paper. Now that one, take it up to 90 degrees. Then this one, do the same thing, because that helps the paper, because that's how our back's going to look, just like that. So I just ran my bone folder in here a few times. You can use this, but I'm afraid it'll, so I use this side. So that's kind of a scrapey thing. Or your ruler. Have one of these. Go in with that, just like that. So, and this would actually make a neat back and front cover, and you put cardstock here, or a mini album. Alright, so we got these done. We need to do the insides. And actually, that scrap I cut is perfect. It needs one cut. In my black scraps. I have a lighter piece that will work. This will do it. That looks like two different blacks. Doesn't it? I wonder where I got that one from. And again, that's another color black. Alright. I think I'm just going to cut a big wider one because I want less of a border. Yeah, I'm going to cut a wider one for both of these. Oh, that's weird. That black is... Alright. Let's go with 9 3/4. I know that's 6, so let's go with 6 3/4. For that one. And again, 3 3/4. So now let's see, measure twice, cut once. That's a little over 9 inches, so if I go 8 3/4, that should be plenty. Mittens, what are you doing? Did you come to visit? Huh? Alright. So we'll get these put down. And I'll show you a little trick I use. tape. Yes, Poppy, I see you there. No, you have no treats here. Alright. This is how I do it. There is a reason why I just do that, because it's easier to get paper off of that than it is this stuff. So what I do is I take and I put my paper on, figure out where I want it, hold it by one of the ends, make sure that's where I want it. It's centered. Then I press the center, and then I lift up the end, and I haven't burnished your score tape or scrapping tape or whatever you're using, or blank tape. Do that, and you just go in on the side, going in the corner. I pull out a little tab, right where this corner is. Then I'll pull the tab out on those two sides. And then I'll go to the opposite corner and do the same. See, all I'm doing is I'm going to the corner, pulling out a little tab like that, there, and then I'm doing the same on the, and if you wanted to, you could do your little tags like this before. Just do it like that, and then once you pull these out, burnish it down, and generally it's placed right where you want it, and it looks, you can space it evenly. But that's how I do it. Okay. Again, I do it on the paper. Some people say, well, why not do it on the cardstock? Well, or on the chipboard. Because with the paper I know exactly how big it is. Whereas if I do it on the chipboard, I have to say, okay, I need this much of a gap, so I gotta leave this much, and then you get it wrong, and you gotta go in with either liquid glue, you know, or you gotta take and use your eraser. And I just found this way works really well for me. And one other thing I'm going to do is, because these will get some wear, I'm going to put a strip here, and I will show you how I take those out. Because those will be the first thing I do. And then I just, again, run a couple strips of that adhesive. If you wanted to run the score tape, scrap tape, whatever there, you could. So again, I'm going to take this, I'm going to center my pieces of cardstock. Like that. Now this piece will hold that, and because it's already centered, I can now go ahead and just gently bend this open, And if I had more than one piece on there, I could still do this. Pull that out. Pull that out. And while I have this open, I'm going to take and make my 2 little flaps here. Lay it down. Pull my flaps. Go to the opposite corner and do the same thing. There you go. Just like that. Clean up. Okay, so now we have to go back and do our scoring is basically what it is. And the thing is, because I don't have my paper, my inside layer all the way up to the edge, I can actually see where my scores are for these. I will sometimes take my scoring tool and just go in there and do that. And sometimes that's the easiest way to do it, really, because then you get the start of it. And with these ball ones, you can get in there because you have little ones or smaller ones. You can actually get in there and do it. So again, I bring that up to 90 degrees. Then I do the same with this one. So there's that. So there's my back cover. And we'll go just like this. So let's get the holes in this. And then I'm going to semi-do the front, well yeah, and then do the front covers. Now, because these are 4 inches exactly, when I line it up and I bind it all, it's right on the edge. There's no way one way or another. And it really doesn't matter which way you put these in to cut the holes. Some people say, oh yes it does, you gotta do it with the front facing you, or you gotta do it with the back facing you. It's whatever you are comfortable with doing. Okay. So I have my holes. Take this. Alright. Trying to decide which one I want on the front. Because it'll be 5.5 by 4. I know that's kind of pretty. And that way I can put black accents on it and use this and that. Okay. So, both of these need to be cut 5.5 by 3 3/4. Yeah, I'm just leaving the top under because I'm just going to cut it. So 5.5 by 3 3/4. Okay, so that means those will go like that. This is on my inside. So again, 5.5 by 3 3/4. Okay. That will take care of the big parts. Now I got to worry about these two here. And what I decided was because my fronts are light colored, I'm going to take some of my scraps that are non-directional, like this one, and that would actually work for both. And that's out of that new stack. So that's going to be for that. Now I know these are 1.5 by 4. So if I cut it 1 1/4 by 3 3/4, there's 2. Because that brings that new stack also in. And that's my big thing, is making sure that new stack of Modern Elegance, even though it's thin paper, it still comes into play on this. So go ahead and get the back done. Now I could use the score tape on this if I wanted to. I put a lot of tape on it. And I just line this up. I'm trying to decide if I want to go light to dark or dark to light. This way. You look at my... Okay, they had it going this way. Alright. So if your paper has direction, and again, I'm just going to lay this down. And it is near here, but that's because of this. I left a little border there, and I'm not worried about that. Thing is, once I get this, the back and the front done, then I'll show you how I'm going to put it together. I think I put enough on there, don't you? Nice thing is, my sister does not know I'm making this, and she does not want you to. Somehow I always get on the front. Now I'm not going to take and do anything here yet. I might change my mind later. I don't know. And then all I need to do is to... This paper though, I am going to add. should have etched that. Oh well. I am going to etch the front cover because that is so light. This one I'm not too worried about because it's got the tones of gray and black in there, and you can't really see the sides. Yeah, when I'm not up here, I'm downstairs usually. And I've been working on crocheting market bags. I don't know if where you live has a market, a farmer's market or whatever. Where I live they do. And I thought, well, cool. And a group I'm part of, we used to have a lady who would do bags out of old feed bags. You know, the burlap type ones. And she hasn't been doing any shows with us. But I thought, well, I'll crochet some. And something I'm going to do is we collect, is the only word for it, plastic bags. And I've seen people do things with them, and the patterns I've found for the market bags I'm making, and I'm using cotton yarn, like by Peaches and Cream, Sugar and Cream, that type of yarn, or cotton. There's a couple other brands I use too, but I started doing this, and I have a big ball already done up of using the plastic bags and crocheting them into market bags. The only thing is you need to use double strands and a bigger crochet hook, which I have. And I need to find the box. Did I put it in a box or a bag? Oh, it's in a bag. I need to find the bag. My husband, when he puts stuff away, he doesn't put it where I can find it easy. So I have to go look for it. Alright, now, these can go one of two ways, and I want them to go this way because then they look like butterflies. Now if you put it this way, they look kind of like the back of a peacock. So, yeah, it's butterflies or peacock butts. You know, whatever tickles your fancy, yes. So, I'll center this. My husband's working, he's off the next 2 days. So I gotta see if I can call him into doing some stuff again. I make deals with them. What can I say? That's how I got my bathroom cleaned. I made a deal with him. He wanted to do something, I didn't want to do it, but I said, okay, I'll do it if you clean the bathroom. Oh shoot, I know what I forgot. Alright, ladies. This should be easy enough to fix. Alright, well that's why I didn't put the paper on there yet. Oh, Wendy, you're good. Alright, so this is going to go, you can see it better, like this. The thing is, I forgot to put my magnets on. And I'm going to put 2 on, and there is a reason for that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift this paper up, hopefully. Yes. And that's on the inside. I need the outside. Yeah. Don't mind me. Alright. sometimes if you don't let it smooth it down too hard, you can bring it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my magnets and I'm going to take the 2 pluses. Pluses. Whoa, mama! I put them further apart. Otherwise, I'll have a whole mess here. In case you didn't see that, I'll show it to you again. That was funny. What I did was I had my 2 magnets like that, and I had the other ones there, they all clumped together. So, be aware of that. Okay. So I have my magnets. Okay, get them apart. And there's always a reason why I do it this way. It's because to me, it seems to work better. It doesn't matter which side you put down, and that I'm going to put the plus size on this part, and I'll put the negatives on there. So what I'm going to do is, and I know these have tape on them already, but I'm going to take a small piece of score tape. I'm going to lay it in here about 3/4 of an inch. Or I could do it an inch. Let's see, well, it's close to whatever. You can do it 3/4 of an inch. You can do it whatever you want. I'll peel this back a little more because you got an inch and a half. But I think 3/4 of an inch would be perfect. And I'm just gonna, well, I'm doing it in between. How about that? Lay that as straight as you can. Flip this. Now, I'm going to take the first plus size magnet. And I take off the little paper just in case, because there is sticky there. And brush that down. And let's see. I want this right about there. And again, I did the same thing with the other one. I'm using 2. If you have longer magnets, or bigger magnets, you may only get by with 1, but I'm going to use 2. And I'm going in about 3/4 of an inch. I'm trying to line them up, okay. And I'm going to put other side of them some more score tape, and I should have done this before. Actually, I'm gonna, that's alright. Okay, and then alright, now, to get, oh there it is, never mind, I found it, and just let the magnet do the work. Okay. And I know these are between. So now I'm going to take this other piece. And again, I'm going to take the 1/8 inch. And I know my magnets are between, they're about 3/4. So what I'm going to do for these is just take and lay like that. And then I'm going to take this, I'm going to bring, do it this way. Take that and put it there. I'm going to bend this so that like it would go. Center it. Gently pull. There, I have my magnets on. Oh, my score tape is way oh well, they're on there. And I'll use score tape on either side of those. So I'll put some score tape on either side. Up on it, I'm not too worried. Alright, and then we'll use some more pattern paper. Let's see. I'm looking at my scraps. This will be nice. I like that. And I'm just going to leave this plain. And I'm using from that new pack, for one thing because it is paper. It's lightweight paper and it bends a little better over the magnets. So 3 3/4 by 1 1/4. Keep that scrap because I can use it. Okay. And this one I will edge. I love these little distress things because then I don't have to bring out my big ones and I can keep the ones I want right on my table. Okay. So yes, I am still using snail. Tape runner, whatever you want to call it. take off this. Now, binding. Alright, if I was to use my Bind It All and that, here's the issue. The largest ones I can find of these is 1 1/4 inches. The largest I can find of the rings for the cinch, which I can also use, is 1 1/4 inches. Now, this is 1 1/2 inches. And because I want it to flip, I went to the local FedEx store. I also went into Office Depot, or Office Max, and I got these at both of them. I think one is bigger than the other though. This is about 1 1/2 inches. I asked them for their largest coil and their largest I can't think of what they call it, the wire thingies like this. They have these in plastic. I did not want plastic for that way. And besides, while they were 2 inches and they were big, I don't think it would have flipped as easily as I want it. Now, I went with this, the black coil, 50 cents. For one big piece. And considering how small this is, I can probably get five or six of this type of mini album out of this one coil. I bought 4 at each. They were 50 cents at each place. I haven't checked Staples yet. And I know they do in-store book binding. So wherever they do book binding, and then go in there and ask them, what is your largest coil? What is your largest, whatever this is. And when they tell you, because this is 1 1/2 inches wide, okay, I would love it if this was 1 3/4 inches, but you know what? The 1 1/2 inches actually will work. So, I already have my pages in order. We're going to bind this now because all this stuff is done. And the neat thing is we don't have to put the back page to the back or the front and all that. So, and I had to watch some videos on how to do this, and I still have some issues with how to finish the ends so that it goes fine. And if someone can give me some advice on that, I would greatly appreciate it. So what I am doing now is I am just putting my pages on. And remember, the slider page ones are shorter. And I have a surprise for you. And I'll show you that. But once you get them all on here, they'll all be the same, at the same place. Let's put it that way. This is my only issue with these things, is trying to get these on. Now, some people say, well, why did you go with the plastic? Well, that's all they had. They didn't have metal ones. And I looked online and buying metal ones, oh my gosh, that is prohibitive. Because they price them out for businesses. It would be great if someone came along and managed to get us at least the coils in like up to the 2-inch mark. And all I'm going to do is take the beginning and thread it through. Now if you have the cinch, you could probably make your holes a little closer. I might invest in one, especially because if I'm going to work with this. Just for the ease of setting my holes closer. Don't get me wrong, I love my bind it all. I really do. But I think there's a need for both machines. Now the one issue I have is I don't know how far I need to take the end here. So I'm just going to take this part all the way to there, and I'm going to cut it off here. And wrong ones. That doesn't work. And yeah, it's plastic, but you know what? It does bend. Oops. Oops. Guess what I forgot to put on? That's easy enough to fix. Just start pulling it out. Do it from the opposite end. And I'm not going to pull it all the way out. Yeah, I almost have to. But if I hold it right, it'll be alright. Okay. So. Again. Okay. Well, if I start from the right hand side, it'll be alright. Make sure I got all my pages on there. That's good. Alright, here we go again. And if you lay it, if you can't, I'm laying it on its side and I'm just twirling this through. If you went from the top down, that would work too. See if you went this way. Hold it up in the air. And generally, once you get it into this one here, because your pages are pretty much lined up, it slides right through. So there is that. Now it doesn't, once I get stuff in there, it will go out a little bit. But the purpose of this is You got the magnets in there. And the reason why it's not really going right now is because the paper is still. But the thing is, once you get this decorated and everything, you know, I just realized that's the front cover. No, this is the front. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I do. But basically what will happen is you'll flip the front cover to the back. I know what I'm doing. See, this is, I gotta figure this part out, and I will, don't worry. And then this, I need to work on bending it the other way. We'll go back like this. You see that? And it'll still catch the magnets. So a couple things to do is to work on this here, and one good way to do that is, and I forgot about this part, I gotta train this paper to bend both ways. My neighbor's revving his motorcycle. There we go. So I gotta train the paper to also fold this way. And it's easy enough to do, you know. Once you get it, oh, and that cracked. That's what happened. Okay. That's what they make washi tape for. I knew I should have put. And that was on the side I put the. No, it wasn't. Yep. If you're gonna make these, put the tie back on both sides. But don't worry, I have a fix. I have a fix. And it'll be a decorative element. I have this washi tape here. See, you get to see what I do wrong, and then you know not to do it. That I'm going to lay, I'm actually going to do it on both of these, just to give it some reinforcement. And then I'll take and use my scoring tool. Actually, that looks kind of neat. I think my sister will like this. And I can't believe I got it to match. Yippee! If you only knew. I am so happy. Oh, I ripped it. Darn it. Okay. Well, try this again. I pressed a little too hard, that's my problem. Nice thing about, well, that wasn't good. Okay, we'll try this again. If all else fails, I'll get out the black duct tape. I just need to be gentle with it, that's all. Oops. what I'll do is I won't score it this time. Just bring it up. Do as I say, not as I do. You ever get told that? I was told that a lot when I was a kid. And actually, there is some truth to that. When I was in school and we had home ec, yes, the girls took home ec. I had been sewing and cooking and everything else for years before I even took home ec. And so I had my own way of doing stuff. Well, it wasn't the school's way. And I would come home frustrated, and my mom gave me some advice. She said, while you're at school, do it as they tell you. But when you come home, do it the way you want to do it. So that's what I always did. Is when I was in school, I did it the school way. When I was at home, I did it Mom's way, or actually my way. So, actually that's looking kind of cool. And it adds a little protection there. When you're doing these, please put tie back on both sides of the that will help protect your paper. I should put, I'll not cover up that outer piece. I don't want to cover up the outer piece. It's just accent. Now that should help it. And check for it coming up and bend it or paste it back down. Make sure it's really, really, if you're worried about it coming up, put some score tape there. That works. And now I look like that. I should maybe put some right on the edge too to finish that off. So yeah, put the tie back on both sides of these folds. Believe me, you won't regret it. And the only reason why I'm doing this here is because to me, it finishes it off. Some people may say you don't need to, but to me, it needs it. Okay, and then we'll go back to the binding. And it adds some interest and some pattern. I also have a chevron one that I'm going to add to some of the tags and maybe a couple of the pages as a decoration. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there's that. Now, let's get this back to where it should be. Okay, there we go. Now, the thing with this stuff here is I can never figure out which end to bend it on, or which side to bend it to, because this does bend. If you take, you know how when you look at coil books, see how that has the bend there? Let's see that? There's the little bend. And I just did that with my pliers. So there has to be, and I gotta do a little more research on that, on how to make that right. But basically that's how you would, this is one way of binding. I mean, you could use the rings, like you could use the 2-inch rings, and I know that you can get them in color in that, and then you would just put 2 on, or 3 at the most. But I said I had a surprise for you guys, and I do. I've been working on this one, and I'll show you the reason why I went with the coil. I made 2 more of these, and this one I'm going to have to take out, and I'm going to have to put the coil on. But this is the same premise, and the reason why I'm going to put the coil on, well, maybe I would leave it like this, is because look right there, and it works. It flips back, and this goes this way, and it stands. Okay, so it will stand. It's nice when it works. I'm gonna leave this on here. These got kind of, they're not circles anymore. They're kind of, they got a little point on top. But basically, so this is going to be a show and tell as well. I haven't finished decorating these. And just so you know, this one is interesting because I have not 1, not 2, but 3 of these waterfalls in them. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 waterfall. And this, yeah. And I didn't glue, and this is why I suggest the glue up here. So I'm going to have to go back and do the glue. And you know what? I think my pocket's on the opposite side of this one. And my pockets are all cattywampus. So I might have to go back in and rebind this one. So, and then this one has the pocket on the back. This one is just a plain pocket one. Then we have another side pocket. Or is that the double pocket one? No, this is a double pocket one. So it has a pocket on either side. So I may just leave the pockets in cattywampus and go from there. Here's another one with the flip. I should hold it this way, shouldn't I? That you can see. Now, this is a tripod, and I need to put some sort of closure on it. And I've got an idea for a closure. I bought this from Hobby Lobby, and it has these little tag thingies here. These little thingies, and I thought I'd take and use one of those as a closure. on this one. There's another pocket. Here's the second of the 3 waterfalls, and this one has, I don't know, I was in a waterfall making mood that day, the day I did this, and that one's down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Here's another double pocket page, and on the back I did another waterfall. Like I said, I was in a waterfall making mood, and for some reason my waterfall is not laying straight. I know how I cut it, and I know I laid it on in right. But again, these are going to my sisters, so, and my nieces, so these are Christmas gifts. They won't mind. I might take this off and reset it. That was my other thing with this, is that you gotta kind of make sure that it might help if I get these out. I think I cut these ends a little too close. Because I couldn't find my smaller pliers to cut them with. So anyways, so I gotta do a little fixing on that. And then I have this one, and again the same thing. And this one is, and again I used the black foil, and it does bend, and there's no breakage in there. I don't know why. And again, I got glue. Whatever. Alright. Now, I did some things in here. If you notice, this one sits really full. If you look at the side here, it's really full, and I'll show you why. There's a pocket on the front page for a couple tags. Then I did this little mini photo book. And I should have stuck with 9. I didn't. Needless to say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, no, there's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can put 18 little pictures on here. I should have stuck with 6. I'll tell you the truth, I should have stuck with 6. But I thought, you know, my one sister, she has 3 grandkids, or 2 grandkids, and I made a little book, and I like this little book, and I thought I'd make a whole bunch of more of them. I might do a little tutorial on that, because that was kind of interesting, and I just tied it like that. And there's a pocket here, and this one has a double pocket. Gee, it's a double pocket. And of course, there's the flip and a pocket. And I put these little things here for photos. Some people say, well, why you do that? And and yes, I did another waterfall here. I didn't get waterfall crazy. I got book crazy on this one. And I gotta do some more decorating. Here's another little mini album I did. This was a little flatter. And this one opens up just like this and then down. So you can put 4 on the inside and then 3 on the outside. So 7 will fit in this one. And the ribbon I'm using on these is all that ribbon I got from Stampers Inc. And this is really a really neat ribbon. It's kind of holographic. It shimmers and it kind of changes colors. And it's kind of a rusty brown. And I thought it went really well with these papers. And again, this is another double pocket page. Or is this a single pocket? Nope, this one's a single pocket. This is a double pocket. Another water, maybe I did go waterfall crazy in this one too. Again, another waterfall pocket. And on the back I put a waterfall. So I went waterfall crazy in these things. I don't know if I'll go waterfall crazy in the black and white one. So yes, I've been a busy little beaver. I might do a tutorial on how I did this, because believe me, I don't recall seeing a video, and I'm pretty good about remembering where I see stuff being done at. So, and I know I haven't seen anyone do easel mini albums like what I do. Okay, my camera's telling me it's getting full. So that's it for tonight. Good night.